Hello people, I am here to do a review and a how-to of how to play this card game called 12 Caesars. Now here's what you get inside the box. This is a game for 3 to 6 players. It is a trick-taking game where you try to gain control of as many Caesars as you can. Okay, whoever has the most Caesars at the end of the game wins. Here's what you get. Inside the box you get the rules, the 12 Caesar rules. You also get this history of the Caesars, which is a little, it has nothing to do with the game itself, but it just gives flavor because it tells you about, a little bit about each of the Caesars right there. Julius Caesar, Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, and so on. There's 12 of them. You also get a score pad and these little cards, which will reminder cards, which will tell you about the special abilities of each of the cards, and of course the playing cards themselves, which are divided into gold and intrigue cards. All right, and now let's set up the game as if one were going to play it. We now have here a game set up for start of play. What you do first is you put all of the Caesar cards, the ones that have a Caesar on them, in a circle. And the rules say that to resemble a clock face, though I don't think that's really necessary. You could just put them any way you want. And you put the draw pile here in the center. And for each player, here we have set it up for 3 players. Like I said, it's a 3 to 6 player game. You give 6 cards to each player, all right, along with their little reminder cards to see the special powers of each card. All right, so now what we do first, the first player turns over a Caesar. Here we have Tiberius, all right, and he is the 3rd Caesar, so he is worth 3 points. The players are now going to bid for that Caesar by choosing 2 cards from their hand. All right, they can choose either 2 cards that are gold cards or an intrigue and a gold card. All right, now all 3 players have chosen 2 cards to be their bidding hand, and we'll see what each of them has. They of course each try to get the highest bid with their hand. Here we have politics and gold, 9 gold for player 1. Then player 2 chose blackmail and 9 gold. So right now these 2 players are tied. Let's see what player 3 has over here. He has politics and the 10 gold, which means that he wins the Caesar. The Caesar goes to him. Very well. Now let's look at as you can see here, we have a politics card and a blackmail card. These are called intrigue cards. You can use 1 in your hand, but not 2. Likewise, you can use 1 gold or 2 gold if you do not have any intrigue cards. Let us now see what each intrigue card does. Now here are the intrigue cards, and let's see what each one of them does. Here first we have politics. This one actually does nothing. If you have you can just use it in your bid along with some gold. All right, so if you win a Caesar with this, you simply keep that Caesar. Now with the blackmail card, what happens, you win the Caesar and you can keep it, or you can switch that Caesar for somebody else's Caesar, that they have won. For instance, here Tiberius, which is worth 3, you could switch it over for another Caesar. Let's see if, like for instance this one, like for Domitian, who is worth 12. So if you won a Caesar using the blackmail card here, and the Caesar that you won was Tiberius, it would be a smart move to switch it over for Domitian because he is worth more points. All right, then we have the assassination card. All right, so here in this case, if you win the Caesar, you can kill the Caesar and he is taken out of play. Now why would you want to do that? Because to prevent precisely from somebody else stealing him and thus gaining those points. You probably want to do that when you're ahead in points in the game. Right, so let's say you don't want anybody to get the Domitian, who was the most valuable of the Caesars because he's worth 12 points. You may want to keep him, or maybe want to kill him, in a true Roman Empire fashion. Right there. Next, we have the backstabbing card. And for backstabbing, if you win the Caesar, you can put any other player's Caesars back into the forum, meaning back here, face down. That means, let's say again, if somebody won the mission, and that's a lot of points for that player, you may want to remove it from that player's hand and put it back in the forum. Here, this is the forum, so that way there's a chance that you may get it. All right. Well, of course, you would do it in a random fashion, so they don't know where he is. All right. Well, that's what those special cards do. Once the bidding is over and the Caesar has gone to the winning player, of course, everybody discards the cards that they use for bidding. They put it here, right here, into this card pile, which of course leaves them with 4 cards instead of 6. So each player then replenishes his hand with the 2 more cards. And the process starts over again. The next player will turn over at random any other Caesar. Here we have Julius, who is only worth 1 point, so he's not very valuable. All right, but even so, everybody will bid for him in the fashion as formally described. Very well, and so play continues until all of the Caesars have been removed from the forum, so everybody has them. And now you must add up the total of your Caesars. Now, here's how you add them up. These Caesars, which are from 7 to 12, their value is the face value. So this Galba is worth 7, Otho 8, Vitellius 9, Vespasian 10, Titus 11, and Domitian 12. However, these on top, there's a special way of scoring. 1, 2, and 3, which are Julius, Augustus, and Tiberius. If you have any 2 of these, their points are doubled. So if you have in your hand Julius and Augustus, or Julius and Tiberius, or any combination, at least having 2 of these 3, their points are doubled. So Julius will be worth 2 and Augustus 4. All right. The same thing applies for these 3, which are 4, 5, and 6. Caligula, Claudius, and Nero. If you have any 2 of these, in any combination, their points are also doubled. All right. So, for instance, if you have Caligula and Claudius, Caligula would be worth 8 and Claudius 10. Now, if you have all 3 of these, 1, 2, and 3, Julius, Augustus, and Tiberius, in your hand at the end of the round, their points are tripled. So it would be 3 and 6 and 9 here you would have in your hand. Likewise for these 3. Okay, so their points would also be tripled if you had all 3 of those. Like I said, the rest, they are just the face value. You add up the points to see who has the most points, and that player wins the round. You can play as many rounds as you want, a predetermined number, or only play 1 round. That is your choice. Now, while bidding, there can be 2 scenarios. The first one is that none of the players have intrigue cards, meaning assassination, backstabbing, blackmail, or politics card, and they only have gold cards. In that case, each player would bid the maximum amount of gold that they have. In this case, this player has 11, 12, and 10. So this player would win the bid. The other scenario is that there is a tie. Let's say they do have, whether in the amount of gold, the highest number, or if it is with intrigue cards. Here we have politics and 8 gold, backstabbing and 8 gold, and politics and 6 gold. Now this is the lowest bid, but these 2 are tied. What would happen now is that these 2 players would go to war, as it is called in the game. So with their remaining 4 cards, they would choose another 2 cards and bid again, and to see who has the highest bid, and so on until they run out of cards. If it happens that you are still tied after you have run out of cards, the Caesar upon which you were bidding is removed from play. Well, there you have it. That's how you play 12 Caesars. Very simple, very easy to learn, a trick-taking game that tries to emulate all of the assassination and backstabbing that went on back then in ancient Rome and the time of the Caesars. 12 Caesars, the card game. Thank you for watching.